Hey everybody, Luxinda Swirl here. I am starting on another resin pour project. This is going to be a tray. It is a gift for someone, and I thought you might want to go with me through this adventure to see how it turns out. This is a wooden tray that I found a while back at a flea market. I was going to say an antique shop, but this is not. I mean, it may be old, it may be an antique, but it was a $7 find is what it was. And it is about 11.5 by 14. It's a really nice size for a tray. I am going to be covering up the pattern that was, I don't know if this was etched or I'm not sure how it was made in the wood, but this is all going to disappear. This pretty scene of a farm, I guess, in the winter. We're going to turn it into a different kind of tray altogether. It will be a Christmas present, but not quite the same. We're gonna resin over this, and before I resin over it, I am going to Mod Podge this. I think it's already sealed because it's varnished, but just to make absolutely sure I don't end up with a bunch of bubbles coming up into the resin and causing trouble, I am going to start by taking my bottle of Mod Podge that I got at Walmart, and I am just going to paint liberally into all the corners and the edges all along this tray. I have, you can probably tell, I have taped off the inside of the sides all the way around because I'm a sloppy person and I don't want to be worried about having to try and be neat while I'm busy slathering Mod Podge everywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and slather now that I have my tape in place. And then after I get done with the Mod Podge, I'm going to paint it white. That will be our base coat. So here we go with the Mod Podge. This dries clear, by the way, not that we aren't going to make this white anyway, because we are. But I'm just saying this isn't going to qualify for the white I want at the base. Hey, we're back. My Mod Podge layer has dried. I am now going to use my Artist Loft titanium white paint and paint as smooth a layer as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect because I decided not to wear gloves this time because why would I need them? Oh Lord, I am having, I say that all the time. I am having such a day. Apparently I have a lot of days like this. Okay, so I'm going to put a white layer down because even though I'm going to put white in the first layer of resin, this will, sort of like spray painting a base color on a tumbler before you glitter it, this should help hide any inconsistencies in the white layer of paint, or in the white layer of resin, if there's also white paint underneath. Okay, so we have our white layer in. I think this will do just fine. We will let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow I will meet you in the craft room and we will pour our initial layer of resin, which will be a white layer. So, see you soon. We're back. We are in the craft room. I am mixing some resin. This is not going to be a very exciting thing because all I'm going to do is mix up enough to put a very thin layer of white on the bottom of the tray. And I'm going to do that by mixing up 320 milliliters, which is way too much. What I need, according to the Resin Obsession calculator, for this area and 1/10 of an inch, it calls for 8.92 ounces. Okay. And then I have 3 cups over here I have to pull off some of that resin for, so I needed to add a couple ounces more. So I was going to go for 11 ounces, and 11 ounces is approximately 325 milliliters. So I'm going to make 320 milliliters because that's a notch I can find on my measuring cup. Part A is 1:1 resin. I'm going to use the KS liquid stone. So 160 milliliters of part A and 160 milliliters of part B. I'll siphon off some for my tumblers over here and then mix in white. I'm going to use, I think this is kind of like silver, so I'm going to use a few drops of the pearl and a few drops of the white, which should produce a white opaque resin, and that will be poured in here. I will tip it around just to get coverage, and then I'll come back after it's sat for about half an hour and I will pull off the tape. I won't necessarily bring you back for that. I may. I'll just leave the camera here. The idea is it will still be fluid, well, not fluid, it will still be not cured enough that it will nudge into the edges. But you know, I won't slosh any on the sides, is basically, I'm just trying to keep the sides from being whitened. So, with all that, I'm gonna put my gear on, mix resin, and you will watch. Stay tuned. And we're back. Well, wasn't that just the biggest hot mess you've ever watched on my channel so far? God, could I have had more trouble? I don't think so, but I'm sure it's possible. And I'm sure sometime in the future, making another video, I will have even more problems. So, in spite of all the digging around I had to do in the resin with my hands to get the tape out, oh Lord, it actually, let's see if I can, it actually came out pretty well. Focus, please, thank you. Surprisingly well under the circumstances. I do have a flat layer of resin in my tray. Most of it is white, however, and I will turn this around so hopefully you can see this. These two corners and this side is where the tape I removed pulled up the most white paint I had put down. What I learned from this is the second I finished actually physically painting the white paint on, I should have pulled the tape right then and not worried about it being in place for the resin part. I should have just pulled it while the paint was wet. It wouldn't have pulled any of the other paint away because the paint was wet, and then I could have poured resin on it and it would be fine right now. But no, I did it my way. So now I have to fix this because I do not like the fact that it's showing the dark wood through on this side. I don't like that at all. So what I'm going to do, I was going to mix up another layer of resin in opaque white and pour it in, but honestly this is already feeling heavy from this very thin layer I put in. So I don't want to add more resin to it because once I get the water slides in, I will be adding a final layer of resin in clear, and I don't want to add any more resin than I already have planned. I just think that'll make it too heavy. So what I'm going to do instead, and I hope I'm not sorry I do this, is I'm going to, believe it or not, tape off all the sides again, and I'm going to put saran wrap down to cover a pretty big section of the middle, pretty much leaving myself a border that is uncovered by tape or saran wrap. It won't be a perfect straight shot because the saran wrap's going to give me jagged edges, and that's okay. I'm actually thinking that something sort of like frost on a window, maybe. I won't have to repaint the whole thing. I won't have to re-resin the whole thing. I will just be painting using spray paint. I will spray paint white around the edges and the corners, which should effectively cover up my boo-boos here on both sides. As soon as I'm done spray painting the white in place, I will pull the saran wrap and the tape, let it dry, and then we'll come back and put the water slides on, and then hopefully the final layer of resin. Stick with me, folks. I'm really hoping this still works out. Stay tuned. Here is my attempt to use saran wrap and tape to cover everything except the outer rims where I want the spray paint to go. Wish me luck. We are back. Okay, I sort of got the edges kind of taken care of. It's not perfect, but what I realized after I'd gone to all this trouble and managed to get a whole bunch of white paint all over me in the process is that this wasn't the only fix I could have done other than pouring more white resin, which I didn't want to do. I also could have and may still, once I'm all done with the water slides and I have them UV resined to tack them down, I may paint some Mod Podge along the edges carefully and sprinkle a little white glitter. That's another thing I could do to just, disguise the fact that I'm disguising the fact that I screwed up. It's a possibility. I'm going to deal with that later. We're going to do the water slides now. I have chosen to reverse these, so I'll be putting them face down. I have my reference sheet here because I have a tendency to place everything where I want it, and then I pick them all up and I put them over here to the side, and then I forget where they go as I pick each one up and put it in the water. So I'm going to refer to this, and that's where they are now. But again, I'm not going to leave them here while I'm doing one at a time because they'll get wet and it'll screw everything up. So I'm going to work from this side over. So I'm going to try and keep these in some semblance of order. And then, let's see, bottom, middle. We'll start up in the corner. Here we go. I will be fast forwarding through the whole thing. I will occasionally refer. I need to have a whole bunch of paper towels available. I do have my squeegee tool. Okay, paper towels. Ah, there's another one ripped. Dang it. What the heck? Okay, we're back. Things were going so badly for me. So the fact that my phone cut out before I was anywhere near, well, I wasn't done. I didn't get any of this done. I ruined so many of the water slides that I've had to reprint a bunch. So we're picking up where I left off. You missed some of it. I think these little guys maybe. So I've reprinted the ones that I screwed up, and I've added a Jolly AF here at the top. So I'm going to try again. I have duplicates of these in case I screw them up again. And I did a better job, I think, with the ones that I had so much trouble with before. I swear I put 2 layers of the Rust-Oleum Clear and 1 layer of Plastidip, but I don't think I was as careful in applying nice thick layers each time. So I hopefully have done a better job on these and they won't be so prone to ripping, I'm hoping. So here's what I'm doing. This guy is going to be reaching towards the tree. That's about all he can do because he was supposed to go here, but I've already replaced him with somebody else. And up there doesn't make any sense. So even up there, reaching that way doesn't make sense. He has to go down here. So I'm gonna stick with my idea of yesterday and start on the right-hand side and work my way to the left. We'll see if I can get it to work this time. This one was the first one I botched up yesterday. I also need to wait a little longer. The edges start to curl up, but the body's not ready to let go. So when I was turning it over and trying to pull the backing paper off, I was basically tearing the poor little penguin underneath because he wasn't completely ready in the middle of his little body to let go of his backing paper yet. So I need to not freak out and do it too soon. I need to just calm down and give him time to let go on his own. I have a couple shapes, glitter shapes that would work. I have shooting stars, which are holographic silver stars. But I also have son of a nutcracker, which is kind of cool and certainly appropriate since this is a Christmas tray. It has white snowflakes and then it has red and green 4-pointed stars. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm gonna wait for this to dry a little bit after hopefully I get it put together with the water slides. And then I will Mod Podge and add this shape just around the edges. I'm a little nervous. I thought I had water slides pretty good, but boy, the part you didn't see earlier was just such a mess. Okay, here we go. Please, little penguin, work. Press him down, and oh, it's giving way. That's a good sign. Okay, that's good. Let me squeegee tool. Let me straighten out anything that's not straight. There we go. Yay! That's how it's supposed to go last time. Is that in the middle? Oh, yeah, actually it is. Okay. Yeah. So there we have it. I'll bring you back when I do the border. Okay, we're back. I'm going to put some Mod Podge in a little Jello shot container lid here. And I have some of my son of a nutcracker shaped glitter. And I'm just going to paint and sprinkle. I'm sorry, Tribble, I'm busy. Let's let this dry. This being the Mod Podge with the glitter on it, and we'll be back. And we're back. Well, I have to say, after all was said and done and all the trouble I had, it's looking pretty good right now. So let's continue. I'm going to take my bottle of Miracle Coup UV resin that I got off Amazon. I use now for tacking down things like vinyl onto cups, and in this case, water slides onto trays and or coasters. And I am going to go around the edges, possibly all over, with a very thin coating. And then, while it's still liquid, before I put it out in the sunshine to cure, I am going to put on, let me put the top back on, I will show you. Let me get everything ready. Here are my 3 shape options. Shape glitter options. I found, there's a little tree in that one. Oh, that's right, I have Christmas trees too. Well, there's a big tree in this one. So I have these snowflakes that are, I guess they're sort of clear opalescent. So those wouldn't show up very well, I don't think. I mean, you can see them a little. I like the white ones that are in here. Like you can see right there on his cap where one fell, and you can even see it on the white background because the white is matte. It's not a clear and it's not a holographic or an iridescent or metallic or shiny. And then I have these, which I love, but I'm not sure. This might be too much. This is called Get Lit, and it's little Christmas bulbs, Christmas lights in holographic different colors. So that's a possibility too. I may sprinkle some of everything, especially since I'm dropping it all on here now. So, you know, it's already on here. Probably not put the light on, but I like the snowflakes. I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe I'll use a few of each. First, let me put on the UV resin. Glove. This stuff truly, truly stinks. I should have my respirator on. I don't want lights on the birds. Get the lights off the birds. Get everything off the birds until I put them back on the birds. I know. Flightless fowl. Who here is an Opus Penguin fan? All right. Oops, that doesn't go there. Here we go. Slathering on UV resin now. Just to tack these guys down. I'll do those first. We're going to put enough resin over the top of all this to cover everything up that's not completely flat right at this moment. Ever so carefully. I'm going to try and put a few snowflakes on. All right. I think that's cute enough. All right, I'm going to take this out in the sunshine for about half an hour. It shouldn't take anywhere near that long because it's a bright sunny day, which is why it started to cure even in here when the curtains were up. And I'll bring you back for the final pouring of the final layer of resin and the big reveal at the end. Stay tuned. We are back. We have cured our UV resin. We have put our sparkly things in place, and our penguins are looking good. And we are ready for the final layer. I'm so excited. This has been quite a project. I am going to use the Clearcast 7050. It is remarkable for no bubbles, and that would just give me one fewer things to worry about if it doesn't have that many bubbles to deal with. And I'm not going to put anything in it, not even my rainbow sparkles. I think I'm just going to let it go clear, because we got sparkly stuff here already, and put it on and hope for the best. Honestly, I just want this to be done now. Yeah, so let's do that. I'm gonna gear up, I'm gonna mix up my resin, I'm gonna pour it, I'll do it all in fast forward, and then we'll take a look at it tomorrow morning and hope that nothing significantly went wrong during the night. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, let's check it out. It's done. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And just to prove it, it's dry, it's flat, it's smooth. I don't have hairs in it. No lint, no bumps. Oh, it's gorgeous. I'm so happy. All right, you may notice I did put some tape on it. I had some seepage when I poured the very, very first layer, that horrible white layer that didn't go very well. So before I poured this last layer, because Clearcast 7050 is a particularly thin and runny resin when it's first mixed up, I was afraid I might get even more seepage. So I taped everything off just to avoid that. And to finish this up completely, I will sand off these bits, maybe paint the bottom like black, and then put some cork in the corners, and it will be done. But as far as this video is concerned, the really important part, which is what we did with the inside of the tray, is finished. And I think it looks so cool. What do you think, folks? Have you made yourselves a flea market tray? You ought to try it. That was a lot of fun. Just remember, Do not leave the tape on until after you pour. Take the tape, if you tape the insides to avoid getting paint on the sides, take it off right after you paint while the paint is still wet. Do not leave it on there and then try and pull it off once you've poured the resin because, well, you saw what happened. So that was something I learned from this experience. Don't do that. But I just love how this looks. So thank you very much, everyone. I know this was long and torturous. I hope you enjoy the finished product as much as I am, just looking at how cute and wonderful it is. Stay safe, everyone. I will see you in the next video.